Okay, so today we're going to do a little snowflake animation background. I'm going to bring in, you guys have the red background. If you guys look at how big that file is, red background, right click, properties. This is a pretty large file, details, 2560 by 1600. It's huge, all right? So that's what we want. All right, so we're going to bring this, bring this red background down to our timeline. And I'm going to shrink this down to 33.3%. And you can actually see how large this picture is. All right, so we're going to open up transform. We're going to hit scale. We're going to bring this down a little bit. Then you can see what the image looks like. Okay, everybody have that in their head? Yeah. Now I'm gonna keep it blowing up here. I'm going to have the picture, I'm going to have it going down. No, I'm going to have it going up, sorry. So it's going to go up like this as it's going. It's going to give the illusion that the snowflakes are falling a little bit more quicker or whatever. So I'm going to set a keyframe here for the snowflake, all 5 of those. That's my starting point. I'm going to do it over the course of 30 seconds. So I'm going to go forward in time to 30 seconds. I'm going to bring this up, and the red background is going to stop right there. A keyframe has been added for position, so here's the first move. It's going to just go forward like that. Okay, any questions on that? Pretty simple. All right, so now we're going to get a little bit more creative. We are going to bring in the snowflake. I don't need that layer anymore, so if you are ever happy with a layer and you don't ever want it to move, you can just lock it into position. And if you try to change something, it's going to blink at you, kind of like this. If I try to change the scaling, it's going to blink, okay? All right, so that's what that lock is for right there. Now I'm going to bring down snowflake. I'm going to put red background underneath it. I have to unlock it, bring it underneath. Snowflake, still going to lock it. I'm going to open up snowflake, and right now it's got about 4 or 5. Let me scale this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to isolate just one just to start with. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to go up to layer, mask, new mask. Some of you guys have found ways to mask here. I'm going to go get my little pen tool right here. I'm going to put a couple pinpoints here, 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 and here. And then drag this over. I'm going to crop out some of those other ones. So all I want is just that big snowflake for right now. Okay, that looks pretty good. If I click on the outside, there's the snowflake. All right. So now the snowflake is just sitting there. I'm going to animate this first snowflake. Bring this back up to 50%. And snowflake is selected. I'm going to go grab my arrow. So there's a pen tool and there's an arrow. So make sure that you grab the right one, because if you grab the wrong one, it's not going to work. Snowflake, move that up right there. I'm also going to add in a 3D effect on this snowflake. So this little cube right here, I'm going to push that down and bring this down. I want to see the rotation here. I'm going to do a Y rotation on this. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to bring it up for position. Oops. Go up. So here's my first set of keyframes for the snowflake. And then I want this first one to take about 15 seconds to go down. So we're going to go position. And then we will rotate it. So I added in a position. I am having it start off screen. It's going up, down the screen, and it's also rotating. Okay, so if I play this back, if you watch the screen. Oh. Wow. Looks pretty good, right? So now you can get a little bit more fancy here. Let's do this. We're gonna we're going to copy this snowflake. Control C, Control V. So when I copy it, it's going to land right on top of one of the other ones. I'm going to scale it back, scale it down, and I'm also going to change the position. I'm going to move it over here. And then I'm going to change this one over here. Position, move it over here. So now we've got two going. Oh, it's going off the screen. Let's move it back over here a little bit. Position, put it over here. Okay, now we're going to scale this back here a little bit. So now this one's a little bit smaller. We can also adjust the opacity so you can kind of see through it a little bit. So now we've got two falling at the exact same time. So we can actually grab this second set of keyframes and we can make it fall a little bit faster. So now you have one, we have two, it has different characteristics. Okay, and then we're going to do, I'm going to bring in that whole entire snowflake background up on top. So I'm gonna shut the eyes off on these first two right here. And then I'm going to blow this up a little bit.
Ouch.
Brett, you doing okay back there?
No. I think you're going. I just hurt my butt.
Okay, so just, are you watching the screen so you know how to do this? So I added the snowflake background for those people who are watching this. We are going to raise this up. I brought the scaling up to 180%. I'm going to bring that off screen. When you bring this to 33.3%, it shrinks your window, and then you can actually see where you're pushing stuff here. Okay, so we've got our keyframe right there. I'm going to make it last 28 seconds. And we're going to bring this down. We're going to just have this fall down out of screen. Okay, so it's falling. You guys see how it's falling? Sweet, right? Good. All right, so now what we can do is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to copy it, Control C, paste it, Control V. Two exactly the same layers are on top of one another. So we're going to shrink the size of this one and go bring it to 149. And then we're going to alter the speed of it. And then another thing, just to make it a little bit different, I'm going to make it rotate just a tiny bit. You see that happening off the screen. Thank you. Right. And then we're going to turn on the other layers, those individual snowflakes that I brought in. So now we've got those two that are coming in. And you're animating your snowflakes. And some are rotating. Some are falling different speeds. These four, if you wanted to make each one its own separate layer, I would strongly suggest that you do that mask. Okay? Okay? And then you can play with the opacity a little bit here. You can make some like just barely there or whatever. This front one, a little bit too bright. I don't know. Some of them you might want a little bit brighter. And then one thing that you can do is you can just start copying these layers. You can select all three of these layers, 1, 2, 3, Control C, Control V. You can go into these, you can transform, and then you can just kind of play with the scaling on these things.
Because no two snowflakes look alike, right?
Right. Kind of just offset them a little bit. So you can kind of make a cool transition. I was at church last Sunday, and this was one of the backgrounds that I was kind of inspired to like see if I could actually do it, and I did it. So I thought, hey, I should actually teach our special effects class how to do this. So.